I'm Bob. I like coffee. I also like to tell stories. So, here at the Bobcast Coffee, it's time for a coffee break. So, take a coffee break with me and pour yourself a cup of your favorite Joe. By the time you're done with your coffee, you'll know something about me you really didn't need to know. But you'll have fun learning it. Just remember, my stories are true for the most part. Today I'm drinking coffee out of a Christmas mug because it's out of the attic and now being used. We're in December. So happy holidays and drink your coffee. Oh, I love coffee. All right. Today we are into episode 19. Watch what you say to your kids. And I mean, be very, very vigilant on what you say to your kids. And this is why. For 2 years, I was the scoutmaster for Troop 300 in Yukon, Oklahoma. Now, during this time, I had the pleasure of giving many Scoutmaster minutes at the end of the meetings. The Scoutmaster minute, it's 1 minute for the Scoutmaster to say something inspirational for the boys. Now, the parents were notorious for standing around in the back and talking too loud and paying no attention to what was happening in the meeting. I was determined to get these parents to stop talking and to pay a little bit of attention to their kids. Now, I tried talking to them, and I tried being very snide to them, and I tried calling them out during the meetings, but nothing ever seemed to work. Until one Monday night, I was giving a Scoutmaster minute when I reversed a statement. I went from a positive statement and I said it in a negative way, but still making the positive statement. I don't know what it was about. I don't even know what that Scoutmaster minute was about. But I do remember I got a bunch of the parents' heads to turn and start paying attention to what I was saying because whatever I said sounded odd enough that they wanted to know what I was saying. And this got me to think. So the next Monday, I got myself ready. Now, we had had a very successful meeting. We were planning for an upcoming camp out the next weekend. So we formed up for the final announcements and my Scoutmaster minute. I stepped out in front of my charges. I looked them firmly in the eyes, and I said in my loudest Radio Bob voice, "Boys, I want you to always remember what I am about to tell you. Never, never say no to drugs." The silence was deafening. I looked back at the parents in the back of the room, and the looks that I got back were murderous. That's right, boys. I want you to never say no to drugs. Always say, "No, thank you." It pays to be polite. And drug dealers can be dangerous people, so you don't want to make them mad. From this night on, I had the attention of all the adults every time I had a Scoutmaster minute. Now, it's time to implement phase 2 of my evil plan. Now, one thing you need to do when you are part of the leadership of the Boy Scout troop is to find and train the next adults who will come and follow you as leaders. I spent several weeks now telling Scoutmaster minutes that were just vaguely for the boys, but were more directed to the adults. Then finally, I announced one night that my Scoutmaster Minute could go a little bit longer. Our meetings were held in the gym of the Methodist Church. It was a large gym room. I had brought a brand new roll of calculator paper, and I handed one end of this roll to one of the youngest Boy Scouts, and I handed the other end of the roll to one of the older Boy Scouts, which happened to be Joshua, my son. And I had them stretch this out across the gym from one wall to the other. And when it was nice and tight and stretched all the way across, I spoke directly to the adults. And I said, this paper represents the life of your scout. From this side here, your son is born. And over here is where he dies. So it's a nice, long lifespan. But here are some facts that you need to know. Your boy right now is between 11 and 17 years old. And I walked over to the younger scout to that end of the paper. And I took a chunk of paper and I ripped it off. I said, this here is today. And everything behind us is the past. And I threw the past away. And I handed the paper back to that scout. Now, here's some bad news for you. And I walk over to the other side where the older scout is. And I take a very big chunk of paper and I look at the adults and I say, here is where you die. And I rip off that paper and I throw it over to the side. Hand that paper back over. So what is visible right now is the time that you have left with your son. So at this point, I walk somewhere toward the middle. And I say, now, here at this point is where your son gets married. And I ripped it and I threw it away. I said, from this point here, he's starting his own family. And he's got his own timelines that he has to worry about. Now, you'll still be able to share this time, but remember, it's going to be dominated by his family's needs. Now I have about 4 feet of paper held between two scouts. And I go, well, right here is where he meets his wife, or his wife-to-be. And I rip that paper, throw it away. And now right here is where he goes to college. And I rip that paper and I throw it over here. And right here is where he gets his first car. And I rip that paper and I throw it off to the side. And I've got about 18 inches of paper left. And I hold it up and I say, this right here represents the time that you actually have left to enjoy the adventure of your son and help form him to be the man you want him to be. So your decision is, do you want to sit in the back on the sidelines and let this go by? Or are you going to go camping with us this weekend and enjoy the adventure? And then I quietly walked out of the room. The adult participation picked up greatly after this. So now, after the meeting, I'm gathering up all my things and my son Joshua. We go get in the car and we start to drive home. And my son is unusually quiet. And about 2 miles down the road, Joshua, who's still looking out the side window, he says to me, Pop, does this mean you're going to join karate with me so we can spend more time and adventures together? Another long moment goes by in the silence. And I say to my son, "Son, I never have really liked you." He smiled. And I signed up for the next white belt class in karate, the next night, in fact. And that's how I joined karate. Joshua, in his 17th year, became an Eagle Scout, graduated high school, and became a black belt. I made it to my second brown belt, and then I had to back out for health reasons. Those damn teenagers like kicking the old man in the side of the head. So when I say be very, very careful what you say to and around your kids, I mean it.